I really have no words to express my gratitude for these awards. But I really do not want to thank you for these awards. I want to thank you for what the Women's Refugee Commission is and for what you do. I am a witness of the work of your courageous, determined, and wise staff everywhere in the world, where we do together whatever we can for the protection, the assistance, and the solutions for the people we all care for. But not only the work you do on the ground, the work we do saving lives, the work you do protecting people, the work you do finding solutions for families, it's not only there that I see an enormous contribution for our common work. UNHCR has benefited a lot of your strategic partnership, of your influence in the way policies were defined, operations were conceived and implemented. And working together, I believe UNHCR was able to do better and to do more. And this is what I really wanted to thank you today. Because during the 10 years I could witness, what you have done was remarkable because it had a multiplying effect in all the organizations that have I would say, the luck to be able to work side by side with you. And your dedication and your wisdom is more necessary now than ever. We live in dangerous times, but we also see solidarity vanishing in some parts of the world where I thought it would never happen. During my 10 years as High Commissioner, we had many problems, we had many difficulties, but borders tended to be open everywhere for people in need of protection. Refugees would find protection everywhere, with a few exceptions here and there that we had to deal with, but most of the borders were open. And what we see now is that more and more people are forced to flee. We see a multiplication of conflicts, conflicts becoming eternal, at least they seem never to die. Conflicts becoming more interlinked, more complex, more suffering, more people forced to flee. But now, for the first time in decades, I see borders getting closed. And not only borders getting closed, but starting to be closed in some of the richest countries in the world. And this is a terrible impact globally. It is like a virus that is spreading now. And we see borders closed one after the other, and people having more and more difficulties to flee, and some of them now being forced to go on living in the very same countries where they have suffered already so much. And in this context, it is obvious that women and girls are the most dramatic victims, the most tragically impacted by this situation. And one of the lessons I've learned working with you is that protection is essential, but protection is not enough. That working together we must move progressively from perceiving women and girls only as a subject of protection to engage together in making sure we do everything we can for their empowerment. Because it's only with the empowerment of women and girls that we'll be able to indeed change the conditions they face. It is only giving them a voice in peace negotiations, only making sure they play an essential role in the management of both camps and other refugee sites. It is guaranteeing that they play a leading role in the work refugees are doing in preparation for their future, that we will be able to minimize the terrible suffering that they are now enduring. And I have to tell you, the two most difficult moments I had as High Commissioner were moments in which I had the opportunity, but also the tragic situation of meeting women that had been victims of rape and other forms of sexual violence in conflict situations. Once with Iraqi women, the other with Congolese women in Uvira. And I will never forget. One woman, 40-something years old, difficult to know, that had been gang raped by 17 soldiers, and when her son came to rescue her, the son was killed by those soldiers. And listening to her, I couldn't avoid thinking about my mother, about my wife, about my daughter, and thinking really that we have an enormous obligation to make sure that we act together and we put pressure on those that have power or authority to make sure that these kind of events are severely punished. That the impunity that is still prevailing in many situations, including in UN operations, that impunity is ended, and that those that make people suffer in these absolutely horrible ways find the punishment they need to find. Working with you has been an enormous inspiration for me. And when I see borders closed, and when I see the solidarity of many disappearing, I know that not only your hearts are open, but that what you are doing is making the difference everywhere. Thank you very much.